Good morning, everybody. My name is Neil Stukloy. I'm the Business Development Manager for the Microsoft products within our business. I believe I don't really have to give you an introduction to Microsoft. It's a fairly well-established brand. What I will do is just have a quick explanation of within Microsoft there is a business applications unit called Dynamics, and within that group there is 5 products. One is the AX product, NAV, GP, and SL, which are all accounting products, and then there is Dynamics CRM as well. Now we as Microchannel have a Microsoft Dynamics GP business and CRM, and if you've got any questions around any of the products, please feel free to contact me and we can have a chat around those. Just from a GP point of view, approximately 45,000 customers worldwide and 1,500 partners around the world, which we are one of. So there's a lot of support for the product, and it's a good choice if you want continuity within the product. The product's got deep functionality. We see it as a good all-rounder. And really good for businesses who are thinking of diversifying their business. I think out of the box it's a real depth of functionality across the board. From a finance point of view, it's very strong in finance, and it supports multi-company consolidation, cross-company allocations, good revenue recognition. It's also got a strong fixed assets module. Then on the distribution side, like Savvy One, we have a whole suite for distribution and warehousing, multi-warehousing, landed cost, serialized inventory, and batch support, with all the other pieces needed by distribution business. From a professional services point of view, we also have a very good footprint, not only for professional services business, but any business who wants to manage and run projects, project accounting, time, expense, entry, across mobile devices, with a very good solution for that. We also have a couple of customers in the non-for-profit and education space, all built around a grant management system that's out there, that's part of the product. And funny enough, we have a lot of the sporting institutions within Australia, the NRL, Australian Football Federation, all run on GP, and we've got a fairly good footprint in that industry. So when buying Microsoft GP, you're not only buying the depth of functionality, but you're also getting the integration with most of the other tools from Microsoft Dynamics CRM, the Office Suite, SharePoint, Outlook, Exchange, and it will run on all the latest platforms out there from Microsoft. Funny enough, I've got the Connect in there. It's not it will run on your kids' gaming console, but Microsoft has a vision of using motion and gestures in the time to come. Example of that would be in a manufacturing process. You always have a terminal somewhere in the factory where the widgets are going through, and they envision gestures pushing those processes through the factory. So Microsoft has done a very good job at keeping abreast with the technology. It is also, as you can see from the cloud, Microsoft had a big drive for mobile and cloud solutions, and the way that R&D goes for GP and all the other Dynamics products, it really supports that message. Just some of the benefits that you get from implementing a GP solution. It's got depth of functionality, been around for 20 years. Simple to use, simple to learn. Looks, feels like Microsoft. You'll see in Travis's demo. It is role-tailored, and what that means is there's roles, it's predefined with all the security, and the user will log in if the accounts payable card. They'll only see the things with any. It's got a very open architecture. Runs on Microsoft SQL. There is a couple of inherent tools, integration manager, that allows you to bring data in and out. It's also got a very strong API. Great for businesses who have very specific operational requirements and have got an operational system, but just need a good accounting system. GP is a good solution for combining with those systems. Powerful business intelligence, dashboarding within the system. And then from a desktop and web deployable, as I mentioned, GP 2013 now comes with the web front end and the desktop front end. And we, as Microchannel, have released a web solution called cloudgp.com.au. Go and have a look there. It would be fairly interesting in how we've put that together. Then this is a quick slide of some of the functionality summarized that we've got in the system. I probably want to go to the standard functionality on the side. As I said, it's web enabled. It will run on Microsoft Azure. So if you want to put it into a Azure platform where they supply you with hardware, we can do that for you. It's Windows Mobile enabled. It's got a business portal which allows internal staff and external partners of yours to place orders. That portal is also used for the time and expense entry. Full SharePoint integration. It works with a SharePoint workflow engine. There is standard purchasing, requisition, workflow within the system, but we can really pick up workflow and put it anywhere in the system. Office integration, and then there's a suite of our integration tools which makes it a fairly good and open solution. Just to give you a sense, the current version is 2013, and a lot of time and effort was spent in putting the web front end together. It's very transparent with the fact lines. Simplicity, productivity, and enabling the cloud solution. In the next release, I think the first line process apps, I think Microsoft is truly committed to the mobile, and they see that that is the way of the future. And I think a lot of components of GP will become available as apps in any of the app stores. I've got an example over here. This is the Microsoft the Business Analyzer that they've got. I don't know if Travis will show it, but it's a Windows 8 app, and you connect it to your GP, and you've got all those dashboards and more, and you can set it up accordingly. And we believe that's Microsoft's vision and the way they're going to move forward, and we're very excited. So just in closing, I hope I've given you enough information at a high level of the benefits, functionality, and what the future looks like for Dynamics GP. Yes, it's rich functionality from arguably one of the best-known brands out there. I'm sure a couple of people will argue that with me in this room. But if you've got any questions around GP or CRM for that matter, or any of the other Microsoft products, please give me a line. I'm sure my email address will be at the end of the presentation. I'll be around at the end of the presentation after everybody's finished if there's any questions. So I'll hand over to Travis, who heads up our GP services team, and he'll be showing you all the good stuff. So Travis, I'll hand over to you, mate.
All right, thanks, Neil. Hello, everyone. Can someone just let me know if they can see my screen and hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to take you through Dynamics GP 2013. We've got about half an hour. So in the interest of time, I've logged into a few things and run a few reports. Essentially, this is what you'll be welcomed with when you first open GP. So this is the installed client, and I'll take you through the web version as well, which is very similar. This section here is known as the home page, and each home page is unique to each individual. So when you first log in, the very first time, it will create this home page for you with some suggested links and suggested KPIs and graphs and that sort of thing. But from there, you customize this page, and then that will follow you between this version and the web client. So you will always have the same information whichever way you access it. The licensing is concurrent, so you can buy a 10-user license and have 20 people use the system, just 10 people at the same time. And you can have an unlimited number of companies. So I've created an Australia company here just to Australianise it for things like the BAS and GST. But you can switch between companies quite easily. You've got 5 of them there. One of GP's strongest points is actually its intercompany functionality and being able to report on multiple companies at the same time, and its interaction with Microsoft Dynamics CRM, which is very widely used out in the marketplace. So first of all, I'll just take you through the sections of this page. So up in the top section here, we've got quick links, and for new implementations, we find this very handy for people to put the 10 or so things that they use in this section. It makes it easy to click on one thing and it'll open up whatever that refers to. It's custom defined, obviously, and you can add whatever you want here, any window, any report, any sort of even external program or spreadsheet. You can move things up and down the list, and you can rename them so that they make more sense to use. Like I say, all of our new users tend to use this rather than trying to find their way through the rest of the navigation. They put their quick links on here. In this to-do section here, we have things that are actually dynamically populating. So currently in the system, we have 1 order that's due, and we have 3 invoices. We have 29 outstanding payables transactions. So what this does is it goes into the database in real time and keeps on updating this list so that we can get an indication of what's going on in the business. And all of these things we can drill down into and see the detail behind what that's telling us. So things this might be used for are outstanding payables, in orders that haven't gone out, anything to do with the business. You can define these lists, which I'll come back to in a minute. And then you can populate the results of these lists on that home page to give you an alert as to when something's happening in your business. So these 3 sections here are just KPIs and metrics. So there's several ways of viewing GP data. One of them, which is this one, is within GP itself. All of this is also available over the web because these are, in fact, reporting services reports. All of them can be drilled down into to view more information on them, or they can also all be displayed inside a business portal, which I'll show you that as well. So basically your reporting options, there's about 6 different ways of getting at the same piece of data if you choose to. So that's drilling down into the detail of that actual graph on that home page. Down in this section we have what's called Connect. This just indicates that when you sign up for Microsoft Dynamics, you become part of the Microsoft Dynamics community, and it allows you access to what's called Customer Source, which is a forum and a community and a place where you can download latest versions and service packs and ask questions, read white papers, just get information on all things Dynamics GP. So when you sign up for that, you get access to that. So this is just highlighting the fact that that exists. And it'll show you, you know, that there's an upgrade available. There's some news and some information about if you posted a question on the forums, that kind of thing. So other navigation is, so I'm on the home page now. If I click Financials, it takes me to everything that I can do in the financial series. I can either highlight one section like transactions, or I can see all the sections. So this is every type of transaction that I could possibly do within financials. Same with sales, etc. How the security works in GP is if you don't have access to do something, then you don't have access to it all. So if I wasn't involved in sales, I wouldn't see sales down here. If I was involved in sales but couldn't set up new debtors, then this debtor field here would not exist. The other navigation options in the installed version are to go across the top here. So if I go transactions and I want to do a sales transaction like so, if I want to do an inquiry, they're all broken down into the different modules, so sales, purchasing, inventory. Reports very similar, and cards is where we're doing maintenance. So we're creating new general ledger accounts, we're creating new debtors, all of that kind of thing. So that, in summary, is the installed client. I'll just maybe actually just show you one screen to highlight some of the fields available. This is an order. So throughout GP we have note fields where we can attach notes to any particular document or person or transaction or whatever, so including scanned documents. We have the facility to email out all of these documents, so direct integration with Outlook. When we are emailing out documents, they're actually designed in Word, so you can use the formatting power of Word to put in whatever it is you want. So I'll just print one here. So this is an order. Obviously, it can be customized to whatever you need it to be, but just showing that it's actually coming out of Word as the report writer, and then going through Outlook as the way to send that order out. So again, this can be PDFs if you wish, but just highlighting the fact that it's using the Office products to actually do those orders. Okay, so back to here. Throughout Dynamics GP, we've got full drill down. So if I was to do an inquiry on something in the financial series, I could then drill down once I see an amount that I'm interested in. If I can find something, here we go, and drill down into source document transactions. So anywhere where there's a blue line, I can drill down into the source document. So that just gives you an overview of the install client. Now I'll show you the web client. So they're not separately licensed. If you have one, you have the other available. If we go into the web now, this is the web client. As you can see, I've got a web address up the top here. GP itself looks very similar between the versions. If I click on financials down here, I'll get a very similar page to what I had in the install client. So functionality-wise, they're very similar. The only thing different really is that there's no menu across the top. So you can still go through here, and you can still go through the home page, and you can drill down. You can do transactions. So if I were to click on that sales down the bottom there and show you the same screen in the web client, the sales transaction entry screen, which is the one we looked at before. I think it's going to come up. There we go. So that's the same screen but viewed over the web. So you can still enter orders, you can still run your reports, you can still do anything you could normally do. So I'll just take you through some of your reporting options in GP. So first of all, we can have reports that are just in Excel, and we find this quite popular. So quite often at the managing director level, they're not that interested in going into a system and trying to run a report. So we put reports in Excel. They open Excel and it gives them the latest figures for whatever it is that they're looking at. So inventory levels, sales, payables, cash flow, all of that kind of stuff. You'd also be able to drill back from these reports into GP if you need to see any more information about a particular transaction. We also have a product called Management Reporter, which is with GP, and that publishes things like balance sheets, profit and losses, cash flow statements. In this case, it's showing a profit and loss. It's distributed over the web. So as you can see, again, I've got a URL up top. I've already run this report just in the interest of time. And this would be able to pull from multiple databases at the same time and give you a consolidated view. From a security aspect, you can define at particular levels who gets to see what. So this here is actually a summary of all of the units in this company. If I click on this reporting tree down here, I'll be able to actually drill into a specific unit. So these units really depend on how your system's set up, but they could be divisions like administration and accounting, or they could be more along the lines of states, or they could be cost centers, or they could be divisions and cost centers. So however you decide to implement your system, but clicking on Nautilus Trust, for example, will give me that exact same income statement, but just for the Nautilus Trust. So if I were the manager of that trust, this would be the only report I'd get access to, but they're all can be scheduled and run or however often you want, but usually overnight, because I mean in the morning they've got their information. So the other thing we can do from here, if we start at the summary level, is we can drill down into more information. So this is everything. If I click on sales here, I can see that the sales all come from the trusts. And if I click on the trusts, I can actually see the details of what that sales breakdown is. So this is an example, but we can have, year-to-date, month, balance, budget, whatever basically you want here. And the design of these reports is actually quite straightforward as well. It's very much like Excel. We can download these to Excel. We can download these to Management Reporter, the viewer, which is sort of like a PDF viewer, or we can email these reports out or distribute them over the web. Your next option for viewing information is what's called the business portal. So this is integration with SharePoint. It goes through each of the different sections within GP, and you can view the latest sales data or the latest inventory data or whatever it is that you want to view from this business portal. So the other way of getting reports, which Neil's touched on, is the Windows 8 sort of method, which is an app. So if I take you to the Business Analyzer here, this is available over a tablet, also available, obviously on a PC, and this is going to give you the latest information in dashboard format, which you can also drill down and see the details of whatever information it is. So very handy for the mobile devices. So if we want to see receivables aging, click on that, get a bigger picture of it, and then actually drill into what exactly is in that receivables aging. So like Neil said, Microsoft's getting heavily involved into mobile. That's the direction that they're taking. Can just go back to my desktop. Okay, so full functionality with Outlook. I think I briefly touched on that already. So if we're sending out invoices, statements, remittance advices, all of that kind of stuff, direct integration with Outlook and Exchange. Integration with Excel comes through budgeting, so I can do a budget using a wizard through Excel, and also the integration with Excel comes through, sort of show you the budgets quickly. So here's the budget. I have an import and export wizard from Excel to generate my budgeting. And also the smart list, which I actually forgot to cover off in more detail, which is basically what these draw from. I'll show you those now, and there's quite heavy integration with Excel in there. So if I go to this smart list area, basically what these are is lists of any piece of information in the system. So they're broken down first of all in their different categories. So I can see all financial transactions, for example. It's going to give me a list of all transactions that have gone through my system. With the star level here, these are predefined ones, but I can actually define exactly what it is I want to see here. So say I'm only interested in financial transactions that have originated in purchasing. So I would click on search here. I would say that I'm interested where the series equals purchasing. And get a more refined list. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, I might actually move on to the sales area. So in sales transactions here, we've got a list of all of our sales transactions. I've got my orders and my invoices. I've got different dates. I can sort by different things. So I've got by customer there. I can throw this list out to Excel and do whatever I need to do with it from that point onwards. Back in this actual smart list section, I can change which columns I want to view. So at the moment it's showing me the type, the number, the document date, etc., etc. If I click add on here, I can actually see that I could add all sorts of other things. So address information, whether things have been put on back ordered, when the date is for that back order, what city it's coming from. So let's just add city for now. But as you can see, they're all sensibly named contact person. So you should be able to create your own smart list here, and I might move that up to the top of the list because that's the most important thing. So I want to do a report here by city. So I clicked on that. I've got my report now by city. I can also drill down on any of this stuff. So if I find what it is that I'm interested in, I can double click that and it takes me off to the source document. From there I can still do things like send it out in an email, view it in its original currency if this was a multi-currency transaction, that kind of thing. I also have a quick link up here where I can actually highlight one of the transactions, and rather than go, for example, to the sales order, I might want to go and do an inquiry on that customer and see their name and address, or I might want to go and see all of the transaction history against that customer, not just that one invoice that's showing on that smart list. So in real life, the smart lists are quite extensively used. When I do create my own list, I can then save it. So I click on favorites, much like Internet Explorer, and say that I want to say this is sales by city. It's a pretty basic example, but it gives you the idea. On here I can say, look, I want to make this viewable by system, which is everyone, or I can say I just want to have this list that's for me only, or some intermediary ones where I can say, look, anyone who's using this particular company database is going to want to know this, or anyone in my accounts receivable section perhaps is going to want to know this. So when I click add here, I get two options. Click add as a favorite, which will make it show up on here. Favorite and reminder will also make it populate on the home page. So if I say favorite and reminder and let me know when there's more than 0 records in there, it will count these records as they're entered into the system, and I'll actually have them display back on this home page. So this button up here just refreshes this home page, and now I've got sales by city. There's currently 11 of them, and so I can click into that and get back to where I was originally. So like I say, useful for all sorts of things, including accounts payable, inventory, fixed assets, financial information, etc., etc.